Look, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I genuinely believe the best rap ever done in a K-pop song is RM's verse in BTS's Cypher Part 2 Triptych. And I'm going to explain it to you in this video. Right now you see 4 different categories on the screen right now, and I'm going to briefly go over each one of them to kind of, explain why I think this is the best without making this an hour-long analysis breakdown video, because I tried doing that, and man, I cannot make that coherent. So I need to make it in a shorter fashion, and I'm going to explain it to you guys here. Now, before I dive into the first part of lyrics, let me explain why, the parameters for calling this the best K-pop rap. I'm not including anything K-hip-hop. Obviously, there are verses from rappers like Justice. There are verses from rappers like probably Punch Nello and BY, and all of these crazy good K-hip-hop rappers who have some crazy verses. Like, there are genuinely better verses out of Korea, but specifically on a K-pop song, I think this is the best. And then we can also dive into how, like, Zico No You Can't, that honestly is probably better, but I classify that as K-hip-hop. RM's Joke would technically be K-hip-hop. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm only including songs released on a K-pop album, like an album you would get with like photo cards in it and a hard copy and everything, like that kind of album. That's what the parameters is. So like Joke was never released on that, so RM's Joke wouldn't count. That's the parameters for calling this the best rap in K-pop, like on a K-pop album, because Cypher 2 is a K-pop song at the end of the day. Even though it's extremely hip-hop vibey, it's literally a hip-hop song, it's a rap song, but it's on a K-pop album, which makes it K-pop, the rap song that's K-pop. So I just needed to make that clear. It's been 2 minutes. Let's dive into this first part of lyrics.
Pop it, rock it, knock it, never stop it.
Now, I'll throw the lyrics up on the screen, at least part of them, because there's a lot. It's a really long verse, which we'll get to in a second, but I am not a lyrical expert. I do not speak Korean. I hate to break it to you all, but I am not a fluent speaker of Korean. I can read Korean and struggle to pronounce it, but I don't understand any of the Korean words. That's like my weakness in learning a language is actually learning the words. So as much as I want to be able to look at the translations and be like, oh, that's some clever wordplay. Oh, that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing here. At the end of the day, I can't do that for you. But from what I can tell from the translations, it's at least, better than the average, like, girl, I love you rap in K-pop, or girl, we're breaking up rap in K-pop. There's like the stereotypical K-pop lyrics. Like, this actually has some clever wordplay in it from what I can tell, some clever lyrical devices, and actual, creative lyrics that aren't just about how I love this girl, like most K-pop songs tend to be about, or love yourself, which most K-pop songs tend to be about. So this is like different lyrics, nice wordplay and everything, and I'm sure that there's an actual fluent Korean speaker or a native Korean speaker who has broken these lyrics down in a more meaningful sense. So I highly recommend looking for that out on the internet, because I'm sure it exists. So that's my brief explanation of lyrics. Let's dive into something more tangible for me, and that's length.
Pop it, rock it, knock it, never stop it.
And I'm going to plop up on the screen right now RM's Cypher 2 verse, but transcribed for the rhythm of the flow. So this is his entire verse. It's 56 bars long. Now, if you don't know how to read this, you don't know how to read music or what this is, you've never seen this before, basically, I just transcribed the flow written out musically into rhythms. And like each syllable basically is a bottom part, which is the flow, and the top part is the cadence, which is the accents or the part he emphasizes to give it a little cadence on top of the flow. We'll get to that when we get to flow. But length, isn't inherently telling of what's a good rap. You could have like the longest rap in the world that's like 7 minutes long, like 128 bars or something, right? And it could suck. It could just genuinely be bad. So length doesn't always mean good, just like speed doesn't always mean good. But in this case, the length helps RM a lot. So just for reference, if we just take this part right here, that is the length of a normal K-pop rap. And now the reason I'm saying the length helps RM here and it makes it this much longer is because in a normal K-pop rap, you only get 4 bars or sometimes 8 bars to portray your rap, to develop your rap, to like make your rap climax in a sense, make it feel like it's building up to pay off to something, or like make it tell a story in a way. Like, there's so much you can do with a rap other than just rap. Like, there's so much you can do in a poetic sense with how you set up your verse, how you play with stuff that you rhythms you tease in the beginning and then use at the end, words/rhymes you use in the beginning and then use it at the end. You can do so much when it's a longer verse, and RM does that here. I'm going to get in this more with flow because it's more on the flow idea, but for an example, he has 56 bars. You know how many times he repeated the same flow per bar? He only had 2 specific bars that were the exact same flow. That's crazy! In 56 bars, he only had 2 that were the exact same. Not even the same cadence, I'm pretty sure. But that's just wild to me that he could go through 56 bars, and it's basically all just one flow mashed up together. Just using, playing with 16ths and 8ths in different like little sets, and throwing it all together, and he always has something different with the words. It's crazy. I'll get into that with flow more, but the length, he can't do that in an 8-bar verse. If he has just 8 different bars that don't match, it's like, okay, sure. But make it 56 bars where none of them match? That's fucking mind-blowing to me. I'm sure this is much more common in normal hip-hop, but that doesn't happen in K-pop, which is why I think it's one of the best. Something that does have is you don't hear 56-bar verses in K-pop, and RM's is, and he makes the most of it. Like, he doesn't just like keep doing the same flow over and over for 56 bars, you know? So, there we go. There's topic number 2. Let's dive into the rhyme scheme, though.
Pop it, rock it, knock it, never stop it.
Now, on the screen right now, you can see the rhyme scheme for RM's part at about 10 bars into it. Now, you can hear this full rap, by the way, all 56 bars. I lined it up with the flow. You can hear it in the link in the description. It's kind of quiet. I'm sorry I didn't turn the volume up, so you have to turn your volume up to hear it. But link in the description to hear that entire thing in full so you can like get a full sense of it. But for this specific part right here, I think it's one of my favorite rhyme schemes in it. You can see how it works. Shout out to Angela, by the way, who actually put this together, highlighting the different things. Normally I like to do this in Hangul, but I'm more than grateful for her putting this together. So shout out to Angela. She's in the Discord as well as everyone else. Come check out her Discord, by the way, as well. But this rhyme scheme is really cool. And you can see how I mentioned before with the climax and the foreplay and everything. This is 8 bars. So this would be like a normal length of a K-pop rap in a general sense for most K-pop songs. And you look, and he's able to like start off with a he-twee type of rap going back and forth with a ha-ha, pang-pang, right? He's able to go back and forth with this rhyme scheme and then brings it back up at the end. As you can see in the 8th bar, he comes back and uses all 3 of the same rhymes he used in the first bar. And that is the type of, like, you know, foreshadowing that's awesome in rapping that I feel, especially with rhyme schemes. And it really highlights it here in this rap where he's jumping back and forth between rhyme schemes. He goes into a different rhyme scheme and then goes back, all while doing the same type of rhyming. Which Angela does point out in here. Angela has this whole breakout. I'm going to link the Google Docs that she made this in as well if you want to check that out. So that'll be in the link in the description as well. But this rhyme scheme in general is just so fun to listen to. It's so awesome, and there's so much of this in the 56 bars RM's doing. It's not like this is the only 8 bars where he does something cool rhyme scheme wise. It's just, it's a lot of work to break down 56 bars worth of rhyme scheme, and I'm not even a rhyme scheme expert. But this is just an example of something RM does really cool, and it's just like the little K-pop 8-bar segment. Multiply this by another freaking 48 bars. Like, it's crazy. So, again, you can check out the full breakdown of that in the link in the description as well from Angela, where she, like, putting out all what everything means, how it all works, the cool parts about it as well, and, like, that basically did a whole report for us, which I am super appreciative. So, thank you so much again. Shout out to Angela. And let's dive into the part that I spent many, many, many weeks on, which is this.
Pop it, rock it, knock it, never stop it.
The flow. Now, to wrap things up, the flow is where my expertise is, if you want to call it that. I've played drums for 12, 14 years of my life now. I know rhythms. I can actually say that. I'll sit down, listen to their flow, and transcribe their words. Because when you're rapping, you know, it's rhythm and poetry. So essentially, you're combining the rhythm and the poetry, the rhythm and the words. So rhythm's like 50% of rapping. So what I do is I sit down and take the rhythm that they're speaking and put it onto a music sheet. And on the bottom here, where the X's are, that's their flow. That's every syllable they're speaking and where it lines up rhythmically in the music. And then on the top, the darker circle part, for those of you who don't read music, that is the cadence. That is the accent that he's putting on it. That is the emphasis, the part that you're feeling when he's rapping, if that makes sense. That's kind of, it's like a sub flow, if you will. So you guys can hear this entire thing laid out with the flow, so we hear the clickiness of the rhythms and all of that as well. The link to that is in the description, as I mentioned earlier. It plays the entire thing together, so you guys can go check that out in full and see which parts you like the best and everything. But I alluded to this earlier, and it's going to be really difficult to actually sit down and break this down bar by bar. So unless you want an hour-long video of me explaining every single bar and what I think about every single bar, let me just explain this in the most generalized way possible so that you guys can not spend an hour watching this and still get an idea of how great this is. So as I mentioned earlier, he does 56 bars here, and none of them line up. If we look at a random bar here, and we're looking at the flow and the cadence, it's different than another random bar here, or another random bar here, or here. He never repeats. There's one time where the flow repeats, but the cadence is even different. Like, it's crazy to do 56 bars and never repeat the same flow. I don't even know if that's happened. It's probably happened in K-hip-hop and, Western hip-hop. But in K-pop, that's never happened before, because this is probably one of the only 56 bar verses outside of Yoongi and another Cypher. Which I don't know if I'm pretty sure he's repeated the same flow before. But to me, this is the craziest part of this, is that he has basically one flow throughout this. Like, he throws in a little quintuplet up at the top and a little sub-triplet and some other weird spicy things here and there. But for the most part, this is all just one general flow, which is 8th notes and 16th notes spliced together in different ways. And there's no like consistency pattern to it. It's just where it fits within the words, and because of that, it means that he never repeats himself in the rhythm, and that is so rare in K-pop, especially when it's a song. I can't even get my point across to how cool this is, at least to me, and why I think it's so cool. That is RM Cypher 2. Again, you can see the entire flow and hear it played out in the link in the description. It's really quiet, I'm sorry, but yeah, it took me so long mapping this out too. This is so difficult to map out, just the randomness of it. I couldn't ever go on autopilot and just go, okay, yeah, he's just doing 8th notes here for the next 3 bars. 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, 8th note. It never was like that. It's so random, and it makes it so cool to me. I don't know. Hopefully this kind of all together combined shows you why I think this is the greatest rap in K-pop. If you think there's a better rap and you made it to this point, tell me you made it to this point and tell me what you think is a better rap, so that I generally know which ones to take seriously. Because I know there's gonna be a lot of people who watch the first 3 seconds of this and go, ew, I don't like BTS. I think this rap by Jisung is better, or ew, I think actually this rap by Blah is better. Like, and they don't even watch the video, right? So if you made it this far, please let me know you made it this far and comment what you think is better and why. I'm genuinely curious if there's a K-pop rap that's super unknown that I may have missed. And yeah, I mean, I'm always open to different ideas and different philosophies. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I'd really do appreciate it. And I hope this kind of sheds a new light on Cypher 2 for you all. Maybe it makes you appreciate what RM did back in the early days of BTS even more, because I think it's wild. I think it's some of the best rapping you ever heard in K-pop. On par, like even stuff with Bobby released this year, like that Rockstar album, man. Ooh, or Rockstar album? The song Rockstar on the album Lucky Man. Ooh, there's some other great raps that have released recently, but I think RM's Cypher 2 and everything, it really just stands the test of time. It's really great. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this almost 15 minutes, or if not more than 15-minute video. And just to finish this off, shout out to Emmy for requesting this on stream. I stream on Twitch Sundays through Tuesdays, and if you watch me enough, you can get a special video request. Sometimes it takes me a while to make them, but hey, it's finally happening. So come join us on Twitch. If you watch enough, you can get a special video request like this, and this was Emmy's. So thank you, Emmy, for getting RM some screen time on the channel. And with that being said, K-pop and chill the safe way.
답을 너네 모두 꺼주시오. 한국말로 하자니요 색하네요. 스타일도 바꿨지 이제 내랑 비교 마시오. 나한테 내서 이런 거 처음 해보지요. 영어 빼고 말해 내 피부 노란색 그래 앞에 번호 8이잖아 빨리 전화해. 네가 아는 여자애들 싹 다 불러 오늘 밤은 불지를 거니까 폰을 꺼두기로 해.